you got one more on the bottom here, and we're gonna screw this one in and see how many turns. We got half, one turn, one full turn. And this one's gonna have a spring in it also. Alright, there's the needle with its spring, and there's a little washer down there too on this one, I see it. There you go, I got it. So they each had a washer. And now, always be careful to check the springs and stuff too, because these both had a spring and a washer. The washers were the same, but the springs are actually different because they'll have different spring tensions. The one needle is thicker than the other. I mean the spring, if you could see it. And it has more coils. If you look at that. So I'm actually going to take a picture of that with my phone so I don't forget. You can always use your phone to take pictures as you take stuff apart, and then you essentially just have a picture book of how to put it back together. Or you can draw on a piece of cardboard like this, and as you take everything apart, you can poke it into the cardboard and go through it that way. Alright, so we got everything apart on here. We got all the jets out, everything that we want to clean. It looks like we got all the washers, if there's any washers. So now I have this carburetor cleaner, and inside there is this little basket. Let that drain out so you can see. There's this little basket, so I'm going to put all the small parts and then the carburetor and the bowl, and I'm going to let them sit in there overnight. And then once it sits overnight, I'll take them out and I'll clean them with a can of carb cleaner and spray spray out all the jets and all the passageways of the carburetor, and then we'll reassemble it, and it should be pretty much good as new. We just have to hope that bowl gasket doesn't leak, and if it does, I have that other carburetor kit for the other bike. I'm going to try to just see if we can do it on only one bike. Alright, so we got all these little parts. We're going to pop them in the basket. Take our carburetor, the whole carburetor body. Stuff that in the basket. And then this bowl, I don't want to ruin that gasket. We're going to reuse that gasket on this one. Not ideal, but we're just doing this to sell it. So if it needs the rebuild, we will put a gasket on it. But if we can just clean everything up and be able to reuse what's in there, we'll definitely try that. Alright, so I'm going to have to let that soak overnight, and then I'll pull the plastics and the seat off of this thing. We'll make a separate video for that. Alrighty, we got the carb out of that container. We let it soak overnight, And then we just rinsed it off with CARB cleaner and blew out all the passages. But this stuff looks great. I'm reusing the gasket on this one. On the other bike that we redo everything, we'll put the new gasket, full rebuild kit in there. But this wasn't even leaking though, so we should be fine. So I'm just gonna do a quick video of how this carb goes back together. So one of the first things we're gonna do is put in the pilot jet. That goes right over here, it's for the main, then right here it's the pilot. So we're gonna pop that in there. And then we're gonna screw that tight. And then we're gonna put the main in there. This plastic piece comes off. It's just stayed on there, so I'm gonna leave it on there. Throw that in there. This is the main jet. Alright, and then we had the, let's do the float and the needle seat. So here's the float, and here's the needle seat. I'm going to pop that on there, that little clip on that little metal. I'll slide that over there. And then that goes in this hole right here where my thumb is. Drop that in there, and then we take the pin, and it's going to go right in through these holes, through the float. And that should go in nice and easy, you shouldn't have to force it. And then the next thing we're going to do after that is the idle air screw and then the idle screw, and they had two different springs on there. I have a picture on my phone just so I don't mix that up. And it looks like where'd that other spring go? There it is. Okay, so if you look, these springs are different. I'll try to get it so you can see it. The one's thicker than the other, so they have different spring tension. And one has more coils than the other. So you gotta make sure when you're taking this stuff apart that you check that kind of, and take note. So on this side it has the thinner spring. So you got the little spring, and then it had that little washer up there too. The little tiny washer. Put that on there. And then we're going to screw this into the bottom of the carb. I'm holding the carb upright just so that washer seats in there correctly. And then we're going to tighten that all the way in tight. And then I wrote down the adjustments. I wrote them down. After it's all together, we'll adjust this. And then the other one is the idle screw. So we're going to take that. Put the spring over it, and then this one has a little washer also. Pop the little washer on there, and this one goes in the side. Oops, sorry, keep it in there. And this one we're going to screw it all the way in also. And once we're done putting it all together, we'll check the numbers I had. Okay, so we got, oh, like that pin almost came out. Make sure that's sitting right. So we got the main jet, the pilot, the air mixture screw, the bowl with the little needle seat. That's all good. So we're going to put the float bowl cover on. And same thing with all this stuff, it should go together nice and easy. You shouldn't have to force it. Okay, boom, you heard it just fall right into place. So now we're going to take our 4 Phillips head screws, these ones right here. And we will put those back in there. And anytime you tighten in stuff like this, always crisscross. And I just get them nice and snug, and then at the end I'll go back around and make them all tight. Just nice and snug. Okay, these are all tight. Alright, so we got the main part of the carb. We still have these 2 little jets to put in, and we have to adjust the idle screw and the air mixture screw. I'm going to go get my notes from yesterday. Okay, so this stands for side, was 5/8, and the bottom is 1 1/8, which was the idle air mixture, which is this one here. So I'm gonna unscrew that. 1 1/8 turns out. There's a half, there's 1 1 1/8. And then it said the idle screw was about 5/8 of a turn. But once we get it running, we'll adjust this too, but it will give us a starting point. So there's a half, and then there's your extra 1/8. And now we have the last 2 little mini jets left. And that's where my other note right here is the I don't know. The big one's on top and the little one's on the bottom. So we're gonna check this. This is the big one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. If not, we can always flip them back around. They're on the outside of the carb. I'm just dropping these in there. The beauty of having 3 of these bikes is I can just go, this other one's sitting right in front of me, I can just double check that carburetor, which I'm going to, because that note actually, I don't know, it's a little sloppy honestly. It was late yesterday when I was doing that. I'm going to pull a jet out of this one real quick. Just to see if it's the big one's on the top or the bottom. And this one, it has the small one on the bottom, so I was right. So that carb's all back together. So I'm gonna put that back on the bike with some other parts. So I'm gonna end this video, and I will start a new one, put in the carburetor on with the other extra parts I had. So right here, we got a nice, complete, finished carburetor. All right, we've been messing around with these a little bit. After getting those wrong plastics and doing some research, I can't find anywhere a full set of plastics for these TTR125s. You have to buy the rear fender separate, the front fender separate, the number plate separate, then the tank shroud separate, and then the number plates on the back separate. Those are, if you add them all, it's like $350 for all those, which is crazy. So we kind of had a change of plans. So we're still gonna sell one of them with all we did to it is wash it and just a quick rinse of the carburetor so it runs. So now these two, what I'm gonna do out of the 3 bikes is I'm gonna take the nicest parts and put them on this one bike, and then we'll work our way down, you know, with the shape of the plastics. This one I'm gonna order a new front fender and a new rear fender. That's it. We're gonna use the original tank shrouds and the original back 2 plastics. So we're gonna take the cleanest of those and just clean them up real nice, and then the second best set will go on this, and whatever is left we'll put on the last one. But just to show you a difference, so this one I got the seat and the plastics off, and even though I power wash it, you can still see how dirty it was underneath. The air box is filthy, all that. You know, even though it's clean, you can tell this thing's well written. But so last night took me about 20-30 minutes, and I just had a bucket with some soapy water, and I just took my, you know, just by hand and with the wet rag, and I just wiped this bike down. You know, while everything's off, I just wiped it down while it's nice and easy to get to everything. And this thing looks like $1 million already. So I'm actually gonna clean these 2 air boxes up. We'll get those cleaned up, and then I have some more new parts I'm gonna put on this one. But we were gonna save this one for last and order all the stuff, but we're actually gonna fix this one first so we can put all the best stuff on this and then work our way down the line. And then we're gonna have this one all done and nice. We're gonna try to get 1,500. This one we'll try to get 1,250, and this one I'm expecting like 1,000 out of. If I can get those numbers out of this, it will be worth it. But we need to do some more cleaning up of the original parts, because it is hard to find parts for this. I don't know why. I had a TTR90 recently, and I forget if it was the plastics or the gas tank, whatever it was, but it was really hard to find parts for that too. I don't know what it is with these TTRs, but man, while we're looking at it, look how much better this one looks compared to this one. And all I did was wipe this one down with a wet rag. They are the same bike, same condition, but man, does that look so much better already. So we're gonna clean some other stuff up. We'll get some other parts put on, and we'll make another video.